Meret is better than Donnarumma.
That's what the beef was. That's what it was.
Meret is a better goalkeeper than
The only
Donnarumma.
problem with Meret is he's got buttered fingers. So
but that
the
mistake.
ball,
But
hello.
the saves, he's very...
Where'd it go?
Meret is very explosive. He's an explosive goalkeeper. He made... One game, he made 3 or 4 consecutive saves. He got up.
Oh, I remember that.
There's no.
That's what it was.
Not
You guys-
even close. Not even close.
You think Donnarumma is better?
By far.
By far.
And Donnarumma is from Napoli too. That's what makes it the
I
worst.
remember also a few maybe 6-7 months ago that Piontek was better than Milik. He also said.
I never said that. Never said that.
Ludo's bringing the past back.
Your nose is gonna grow like Pinocchio. Your nose is gonna grow like Pinocchio. Remember, we have technology here. We can bring it up in
Do me a favor.
in 2 seconds.
Don't invite this guy here to the podcast anymore. It's troublemaker.
I can't eat nothing.
Pizza plan. Yo, we had 20 fucking plates. And
20
we had to
plates.
stop them. They wanted to
Just
bring
you?
No, me, the 4 of us. Too much.
Watch food.
But you know what's gonna happen when you go there.
Now he brings extra. That's the thing. From other tables that probably they messed up the order. He gives us 12 clams. Then 10 minutes in, you have another 12.
But you're not
I'll have another
complaining.
plate of
3
octopus.
serving of octopus.
Yeah.
That's your
I have
favorite.
extra octopus.
Oh, I love octopus.
Lobster. Another. Take him more lobster.
No, 2 huge
He
motherfucking
opened
plates.
He opened 4 bottles of wine.
Oh my
4
god.
bottles?
How many of you were
4
there?
people.
How'd you guys get here? You walked?
He had 2 bottles. Hey, I don't drink. He had 2 bottles.
Then he had to go buy
himself.
basil. He had to go buy basil.
For my wife.
Oh, I was like, what does that have to do with it?
Stava facendo la lasagna per la cugina.
Lasagna. Napoletano.
4.
My wife, she's a very good cook. Lei sa cucinare.
Ma lasagna napoletana?
E che ne so se è napoletano o barese, che cazzo ne so.
Sta ricotta e ci sono i polpettini.
Sì, le polpette ci sono dentro.
We gotta put
Yeah,
some
but who
time
makes
to
it
go
better? The body
Dobbiamo
one?
provare. Tell her we gotta
A
try.
Bari non si mettono le polpette dentro, si mette carne macinata.
I polpetti male.
No, le polpette...
La proviamo. When you do it, we try.
Yeah, don't worry.
You see?
Yeah,
I like
we'll
his.
try it.
Yeah, he's smart.
We'll try it. Come on.
All right, you ready?
Ready? Yeah.
Yeah. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Serie A audio experience with IFTV. As you can see, we got Ludo back with us.
Back, baby.
How are you, everyone? Nice to be back.
It's been too long. You were with Anto, and we got Peter that we finally got rid of. So it's nice, we're
Finally.
we're nice and calm.
We shipped him out.
Antonio's a little bit more calm. He was telling me you guys had a game this morning, right? What happened in your game?
And we lost the game, but we didn't deserve to lose. But it's over right now. So we turned the page.
We beat ourselves this morning.
We
That's
beat
the bottom
ourselves.
line.
We did.
I heard, Anto's not a big fan of Conte, but I've heard through the grapevines that he's similar to Conte in the way that he screams. Is that true?
True. Absolutely.
So?
Absolutely. Even though 90% of the stuff that he screams makes no sense. But he still screams. It's still screaming,
I see. I even lost my voice. I need to catch up.
I don't know if you lost your voice for the coaching or for the Milan game.
Both.
Oh.
Both a little
Both.
bit. Both. Okay.
Oh man! All right, we got a lot to get into. We got Milan and Juve. We got the whole Napoli situation, which is why we needed Ludo. We needed to have Ludo on for
expertise.
a while now. And I know you guys had some beef before too. You two, you had something that went back a little bit further.
What did
but
I
you
do?
weren't happy with each other.
You say YouTube or YouTube?
You too,
YouTube.
not YouTube. So we'll get into everything. Where you guys want to start?
Let's start with Juventus game so we get it out of the way.
It's fresh.
Nice and fresh.
It feels good.
Yeah.
Before we get into it, I want to remind everybody we have a phone now that you could send us messages on WhatsApp. The link is in the bio, or you could text 347-460-7036. So yesterday, we were taking some questions with Antonio. We were sending some voice messages. We had a person from Bari, right, that you were talking to. And Antonio predicts that Bari, how many years until they win?
2 years.
2 years, they're going to win everything. Not just get to Serie A, win it all.
Wow. Meaning winning the Scudetto, winning everything?
Everything.
Wow.
The Champions League.
Listen, Dreaming doesn't cost anything.
Because De Laurentiis, they're going to sell Napoli and they're going to concentrate on Bari, on winning everything. Because Napoli, he's going to go busted. He's busted
Oh
already.
boy. So if you want to send us in podcast questions or you want to just text us, we have conversations with Anto, all that stuff. The link is in the bio, or 347-460-7036. Message us on WhatsApp. Mike's going to be checking through them and reading some as we go on.
You can swipe, right?
That's on Instagram. Swipe up.
That's on Instagram.
Yeah, this is not. We're teaching Antonio
How to swipe.
You know it, right? Yeah, he checks on Instagram. I see him all the time. Yeah, he does.
Well, I don't have Instagram. I don't have Facebook. I don't have time.
Microsoft.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of BS.
It is. But you're famous on the platform now.
Right.
All right. Let's go to the Juve game. Before, I want to say I don't think Milan deserved to lose this match. I think the 1-0 for Juventus is similar to most of Juve's games this season is a lie. Where I thought Milan played better, or they had at least the better chances in the match. I was watching the highlights again just to make sure that I wasn't wrong. You know, Piontek had a few occasions. They had Paquetá, the header, where Szczesny was just the saver for Juventus today.
Piontek had an open header, man. He couldn't even get on target. That got me annoyed.
Oh yeah.
He did have an open net.
It was not. It was not a continuous game. You rarely saw 2 or 3 continuing passes. It was always like the referee had a whistle, fouls.
Too many break on the midfield because
too many,
too many midfielders.
Right. It was mostly of a game played, let's say, area to area, coast to coast, but a lot of fouls, a lot of whistling by the ref. It was not continuous.
There's no fluidity
in the game.
A lot of missed passes too.
Yeah.
Correct.
I kept seeing. I mean, every minute.
Elementary passes.
It was like they
passes.
wanted to give the ball away.
Yeah, because Milan pressed a lot. They were
Yeah,
just,
they did.
That was just too close to the Juventus player.
I think this is the best Milan I saw perform this year. I thought that they came
Very
out with
aggressive.
They were solid, yeah.
They were very good.
Organized.
They had
They were
chances.
Yes, very aggressive, very organized,
Except
and
that Romagnoli. What the hell?
well, he's finally set on those 4 in the back, which they didn't play bad. The game was decided by one of those
Just one
creative plays. You know, someone that comes in, and one of those games that only gets decided by a particular play, by a particular player.
Like that Douglas
and a
Costa
particular
one against
Yeah,
and
Locomotive.
Dybala was able to.
You know what?
to put
I
that,
would say
to
more
put that game away.
than Dybala. I will give Dybala 40% for how he scored, and Romagnoli 60%. He made a big mistake. Come on, you don't let somebody
So it was
just
more of his fault than
He was pretty flat-footed, and the weird thing is Romagnoli he goes like this, like I didn't touch
Well,
him.
not a lot of players do what Dybala can do, meaning take that 1v1. There's only a couple of players in Juventus
And
that
he
can
pushed
do
it to his right foot,
that-
which
that
is
can
something
do
that
that.
I think
Correct.
I think even Dybala said nobody
Correct.
thinks I could shoot with my right foot
Right.
after the match, which you would have thought he was going to go for a curler on his left. So maybe Romagnoli, he anticipated like, oh, this guy's going to go left, and then Dybala cut him beautifully. And with the skill that he has. But listen, the difference is Juventus, you could have a guy like Dybala that's playing on the bench and Douglas Costa, who to me, both of those changes changed the match for Juve because up top...
Douglas Costa, a great player, but he's not
phenomenal.
consistent. If Douglas, my opinion, if Douglas Costa would have been more consistent as a player, he could have been a FIFA World.
by far
yeah.
is better than
FIFA World,
Bernardeschi.
He's
World
injury
player.
prone.
Oh,
That's
by
the thing
far,
that's been
by
stopping
far.
him.
He's fragile.
Yeah.
He's very, if
He's
he
very,
was
he's
more
very
consistent
fragile.
than that, I
But
agree
those
with
30,
you.
35 minutes that he can give you, he can change
The game,
He
for
can
sure.
change the whole.
Antonio's
he can change
definitely
the whole
right.
game.
I mean, he's by far better than Bernardeschi. I think that when you put Dybala and you put Costa in, you see a spark on Juve right away where, you know, up top for Juve today, again, I'm fine. I'm struggling to remember a chance that Juventus really had on target that wasn't just a shot that's passed to Donnarumma. Because let's be honest, half of the shots that they were taking, you know, simple saves for Donnarumma. The ones that Milan had were a lot more difficult for Szczesny to save.
Higuain is in great shape. I saw a great Higuain. I think he played one of the best games since he came back to Juventus. Bernardeschi and Ronaldo, both a game to forget.
Well, Bernardeschi's every game is a game to forget for Bernardeschi.
But
He guarantees you
Dybala
once or twice a
today
year.
played absolutely superb. He was attacking the free space. He was opening up the defense. He sprint. He's right on the ball. He gets to the ball first. He's able to take the shot to get away.
He's a good decision maker. He doesn't
He's a game
guess around.
changer,
He's
too.
a game changer.
He's in shape. He's in top shape. You could see the way he makes the runs.
But Ludo, this time Romagnoli, 2 weeks in a row, he cost us the game. Last week, he was late on Luis Alberto pass, and then the other defender that we had, the other big brain that we had.
He did not, Romagnol did not, like Marco said, Romagnol did not expect
Him to
Dybala
cut to his
take
right.
that
You're
ball
not supposed to
to
expect.
his right, you know, that body fake.
He was supposed to get closer to him and just block him right there. It's too much.
But again,
You cannot be caught.
These
flat-footed
guys
Yeah.
are
over
studied.
there.
They know where Dybala goes beforehand.
yeah,
so
but
they
like
didn't
you,
expect him to
but a
go
player
that
like
side.
him, like he said, you know, people don't think I could go to my right,
Yeah,
where I
exactly.
could go to my right.
Correct. And
But
he took the shot with his right, and he hit it right on target. That's the only way that game was going to be decided.
a moment
based
of
on what we
brilliance.
saw.
Yeah, exactly. And I always,
A spark from someone that can decide the. And Juventus has the players that at any given moment can come from the bench and decide a game like that. And also a lot of credit to Mr. Sarri for having the.
Okay, don't give
Oh,
too
you
much
honest-
credit to
No,
this guy
listen.
here. I'll tell you why, Ludo. Between him and Conte, they just have to pray that Lady Luck stays on with them all the time.
Well, Juventus
They
is not
don't
local, though.
deserve to win their games. They just have
You
one or
don't,
two
but you have
players.
players that can decide the game even when you're not playing well, even if it's not your
But
day.
don't
But you have
thank
those
them.
players that with
Don't
a
thank
spark
them. Thank the
can
people
decide.
that cough up the money to have those players. Because as a coach, those people, they don't make much of a
listen,
difference.
Atalanta, Napoli,
Roma.
during the Champions League struggled. Roma struggled. Yes,
Lazio.
Lazio won, but they lost the game.
They lost.
Juventus, the only one that did not struggle because you have the players.
The depth.
That you have the depth.
They also played an easier opposition. I mean, they played
Right.
Lokomotiv Moscow just to be. I know it's difficult in Russia, but I agree with you in the general sense. But isn't it every time I see this happen, and we've seen it many times, how Higuain and Dybala have been the two best players, you know, at least up top for Juventus this season, which were the two guys that had, 2 feet out the door that were being kicked out, and all of a sudden they're the saviors, and only because they begged to stay and said, listen, I'm not going there, I'm not going here, they stayed, and they're proving to be the most important players, whereas, the guys that Sadi bet on, like Bernardeschi, I mean, we've said it many times, I don't need to keep repeating myself, that he's not a player for Juventus. I know you never commented, maybe we've all said how Bernardeschi's not the player that I think a lot of people think he is.
But even Saturday, what he said about Ronaldo, that he was the only player that he really put all his money on, and he was the only player that he would rely on 100%, which that doesn't seem to be the case because in the past 2 games he's been substituted twice.
Listen,
Well, this is good that
what
we
I'm
say this.
thinking.
Let me say it real quick. What happened in the 55th minute for the second game in a row, which hasn't happened since like 2016 for Ronaldo. He was substituted out early.
Wow.
And Ronaldo,
We called this substitution. We were watching the game. I called the sub. I said, Ronaldo has to come out. Today's a no-show.
For context, Ronaldo was struggling to be match fit for this game. He had a knee problem that Sadi says he's been struggling with. He did not sit on the bench. He did not give Sadi his hand. He went straight out
To
the
the locker
tunnel.
room, right.
And it was later said that he left 3 minutes before the game even ended. He took a shower.
Right.
Dipped,
Correct.
left completely, and he was very upset. And you could see him mouthing something. Some people showing videos saying, "Oh, he asked for the substitution." To me, the video that everybody's posting saying that he asked for substitution, I don't see that asking for a substitution. I think he's asking for somebody to pass him the ball, and I don't think that he wanted to be subbed out. Sadi said that he did it more of a precaution because he wasn't feeling good, and he said I could see that he wasn't good there. I agree with you, where I thought it was either going to be Ronaldo or Bernardeschi because both of them were not playing good. So either I wanted Bernardeschi out obviously earlier just because Ronaldo's the type of guy that we saw it versus, who did Juve in the last minute? He's able to, get a foul, score a penalty, or change a match in the last moment. So I would have kept him in, but I understand the decision, especially if he was hurt. But a lot of, people throwing back and forth. I heard Cassano, they were talking before, and Cassano said that this is a nothing situation. He said nobody should blame Ronaldo. He says when you see something like this, you should be happy. He says you see a player that wants to play on the pitch, that wants to keep going, that there should be no repercussions
Well, we
for him.
also
do you think
have
about
to
that?
take into consideration that it's not the same Ronaldo as the past few years. When was the last time that Ronaldo took a man on 1v1? Yes, you could be in great shape. You have a great gym in your house and you keep your body in tip-top shape like LeBron James, $1 million, all the equipment in your house. But you're still 35 years old. So you need to adjust according to the game. Will Ronaldo be decisive again? Yes, you have Champions League, you have the next round, the quarterfinals. He will be decisive. But now Sarri has to find a place for him on the team and on the field where he can become decisive once he is healthy again.
I'm happy
but
that
to
you
see
said
the
that.
Ronaldo of the past to take on 1v1 and go down like a
The
train.
left wing, no, it's not him.
It's not happening
exactly.
anymore. It's not going to happen
But
anymore.
that's why.
But
that's
why is he there? Like,
That-
why
but
is he not playing the center forward role?
That's everybody saying the same thing.
That-
Just
to me-
leave him on the field, on the center. The guy's making coming down from the left
Because
again.
I'll tell you why.
Because Higuain is there.
Ronaldo, even though he cannot take a man on 1v1, based what I said a few minutes ago, but during the game and during the match, he still sees certain things half a second before everybody else sees that happening half a second later. So that's why Ronaldo is on the field, passing, giving those through balls, opening up the way. He sees certain things happening during the game that somebody else, a regular player, will see a little bit later.
But isn't that
That's
wasting?
why
I think
that's when it needs to be adjusted.
I think he's being wasted a little bit, to be honest, because I thought we saw last year he was so decisive when he's got that killer instinct in the box, right? So like when he was at Real Madrid, he moved from that left wing role because he realized, listen, I'm not 24 years old anymore. I'm not going to cut down the wing, go there. But it seems like under Sarri's tactics, it's more so Higuain being that center forward, where under Allegri last year, it was let's get the ball inside the box to Ronaldo. I mean, the guy scored 3 headers against Atletico Madrid. I mean, he was a monster in the box.
Correct.
Where I would like to see him play in that center forward role instead of being on the left side all the time. Every time he picks up the ball on the left,
Sometimes
he's
he comes
so
to the right,
isolated.
too. Sometimes he comes to the right.
I don't like that.
Listen.
I don't
think-
know. I don't
Bruno,
know about Ronaldo playing with his back to the goalkeeper, checking in and playing his back to the goalkeeper. Ronaldo is still a player for me that he had. In order for him to give his best, he has to face the goal.
But inside the
he has
box.
to see in front of him, inside the box or outside the box.
I'd rather him
on
inside the
center,
box.
Center position.
Yeah.
Center position.
What were you going to say?
Bruno, this is what I think. This is what I think. I think Sarri and Higuain, they share a lot of things that a lot of people, they might not know. The guy, it was a waste. He was taken from Napoli when he was on the top of his game. He was brought into Juventus. After that 1 year in Juventus, AC Milan took him over because nobody wanted. As soon as the AC Milan was giving up on him, Sarri immediately. Watch this Sarri Higuain.
Ando, he never
Sarri
showed up to
immediately-
Milano. He never showed up.
And look his belly. It was like it was a whale.
I agree.
Right now,
I agree.
Yeah, right now, watch. From AC Milan, where did he go? Did he go to Bologna, Inter, something like that? He went to Chelsea. And who was
Sarri,
on Chelsea?
right.
Sarri. Sarri comes back. Higuain was already on the market. Sarri stopped everything. Higuain stays again against stays in
But
Torino.
right now he deserves to play.
Stays in Torino.
He's working the hardest.
It's where do you play all these guys?
I think Sarri is going to keep Higuain all the time, regardless of what.
and play Ronaldo on that.
Yeah.
Because he's trying that 4-3-1-2 with that one player behind them, but still,
Well, he did go
there's
to
no
the
really
4-3-3 at the end.
Yeah,
He
but
did go to the 4-3-3
when
at
when
the
he
end.
started in that 4-3-1-2. He's had Dybala and Ronaldo there. Both of them look a little bit where I like Dybala in that position. They don't look in the right spot, in my opinion.
Once Ronaldo came out, Higuain moved a little bit to the left.
exactly.
Right.
And then Dybala
And Costa came in.
played
But you
the
see,
middle.
why don't you do that when Ronaldo is inside?
That's what I was.
I will see Higuain and just make him come
Ronaldo
off the bench
and
put
Dybala
Ronaldo
and Costa.
Dybala. There you go.
That's what I would.
Higuain
That's
on the
in my
bench?
opinion. Again,
Higuain's the only one that's tracking back, that's fighting, that's creating opportunities.
yeah, but you
that's
need
doing
your center.
everything.
I think that the
How you
most
gonna
danger.
plus-
I think the most danger that you could have is with Dybala, Costa, and Ronaldo up top. In my opinion.
Higuain's working the
In my
hardest.
opinion.
No,
but
but-
anyway.
Well, I don't know
but
about the
Bernardeschi-
Costa, about the 90 minutes, like we said
Okay,
before. He's
fine.
not- but I
But
like
more
the
or
Costa,
less.
the 30 minutes that Costa comes in.
It's more than
he
enough.
can
More-
change the
more-
game. He brings that rhythm. He brings that speed. He can take on a
Creativity.
man, creativity, imagination, 1v1. He takes that, and once you're able to pass a man 1v1, now you have options to pass the ball. If the players do the right movements,
I think
Then you gotta
Dybala, I think Agnelli and Sarri, they should be kissing the ground where Dybala works, okay? I'm telling you right now, Dybala was almost gone from Juventus. Rumored to go either to PSG, to Inter, or to
Man
Manchester.
U.
so we're still talking
or to
about the
Manchester.
national Dybala. We're not talking about the international Dybala. We're talking about the national Dybala. I agree with you. International, different animal. different game.
Yeah, but we're talking
why?
about
You know
Juventus.
why?
But if we talk about Juventus, I understand
Even
what.
Juventus internationally.
Okay, let's. I think that all the talking points for Juve and Milan are there. There wasn't too much. Again, Szczesny really saved Juventus, and again, Juventus lackluster performance, but through individual qualities and game changers that they have, and the luxury to put in Douglas Costa and Dybala from the bench continues to prove the decisive factor for Juventus.
That's been their past few seasons,
because the game
Juve.
is not there. Let's
The
just be
majority of
honest.
the matches.
The game is not there.
I didn't like it. The game as
It's
a
not there.
whole, I did
It's
not
not
like
there.
that because there was not that fluidity in the game. Every two passes, the referee had a whistle, balls had a bounce, and too many fouls.
Let's go to Inter Hellas Verona, who also got a late winner through. It's so funny. Barella is the guy that wins the game for Inter. They went down 1-0 in this match to Hellas Verona. They showed really good spirits coming back. Vecino scored a header, a really nice header, and then Barella scored an absolute wonder goal.
Beautiful.
Super funny. And I know Conte was talking about, Champions League experience, but, 3 days before he said, who am I supposed to count on? A guy like Nicola Barella from Cagliari. And then he proved to be the guy. And I understand the
He said
context.
it based off experience and not like quality of players. Right?
But all I'm throwing out there is if you're not happy with Barella and Sensi, I will gladly swap Matuidi, Khedira, Chan. No problem about Champions League experience.
Pjanic too,
I'll take him. No, Pjanic.
You can use Barella too at Napoli, Ludo. You can use Barella.
But anyway,
We did make an offer.
Yeah.
He chose to go to Inter. That was his only. No, Napoli did make an offer.
He said that was the only club he wanted.
really,
to go to.
really good reaction, I think, from Inter, who, of course, Peter was at the game. And it seems like every time Peter goes to a match, he brings the team that he's supporting some luck. We know when he went to the Derby they had there.
Yes.
And then this
3-2.
And then this match against Hellas Verona.
He was
where-
with him at the Derby.
Yeah, I
He
know.
was
that's
also
why
at the
I was saying it.
Atalanta Manchester City game, and he
Ex-
got
the
them
first
a point.
first
The
point in Champions
ever
League
in
history.
Atalanta
And wasn't he?
UCL
He was at the Parma game today,
Was
where
he?
Parma beat Roma.
Oh my god!
This freaking
We
guy.
gotta start renting Peter to go to games around here.
He's gonna make him go to every Napoli game.
Yeah, Peter. We got Ludo over here. He needs some help over here because Napoli is struggling. Just find him a little apartment over there, paying the rent. Yeah, in Naples.
Make him go to every
and just
match.
make him go to every game.
We're going to
Except
put him in
the one against
Alan's
Inter.
apartment.
Yeah.
Except the ones against Inter. But Inter, I think they showed really good reaction in coming back into the match, where they had that whole Champions League disaster where they were not doing good. Lukaku in this match, oh my God, I thought he was going to score. He could have had 2-3 goals.
Jeez, yeah, I
but
thought
it
so
was,
too.
One thing
man.
I have to say about Conte. I do like Conte as a coach because from the bench, he lives the game. It's like he is on the field. It's like he's walking, he's running with the players. Mentally, he's in the. It's like he's playing the game with a suit on. What I don't like is how he expresses himself depending either if it's a victory or a loss. If Inter loses, then the club is not with me. I told them to buy certain players. They didn't purchase these players.
The blame game.
And the bench is short. Now, if they win, it's Conte's win. He's able to motivate. These are great players. He's motivating the teams. So, which is it? You have to try to find a balance. This is the team. These are the players that you have. You cannot bring the club into it only when you lose, that you're not happy. And then when you win, it's your team, it's your victory, it's your sideline aggressiveness and motivation to the players that was able to win
It's a
the
good
game.
point, and
It's
it's what we saw at
immature.
Juventus too. It's
Correct. No,
very
correct.
It's exactly the same. They had Simone Pepe too, who gave an interview, and he was talking about that too. He said, "Listen, like Ronaldo, where he storms off and he gets mad. He's like, you got a character like that in Conte, where that's what he does. It is what it is. Like when he's on the sideline and he's living it, you're so happy to have him. But then on the opposite, he says these things that he shouldn't be saying about the club, and the way that he says things is more so the problem
Correct.
than exactly what he says sometimes.
Don't you forget that but for the very same reasons he was
Correct.
kicked
Yeah.
out from Torino?
Yeah.
Because he was complaining that his player they were not Champions League caliber.
They didn't have enough players.
got
That he
out.
has the authority to say whatever he wants when he feels like saying it.
Exactly.
Luka,
And you
does-
know that when you get
does he
Conte.
does he have a point at a certain extent though?
I don't think he does. I don't think you do have
he
a
doesn't?
point as a no.
Explain.
Well, he's
I don't
comparing to
think-
Juventus, and his depth isn't the same as Juventus, so you can base it off that.
Wait, tell us why.
Well, the depth at Juventus is you made certain decisions. I think he chose the players that they wanted to buy, and the club and Inter did buy those players, and then he chose he said these two players I do not want, Icardi and Nainggolan.
He didn't say that exactly.
No, not Nainggolan.
Yeah.
Nainggolan he wanted, but the
wanted.
club wouldn't let him keep.
Correct. but-
Nainggolan said that he said Conte wanted me, but the club told me I can't keep
They
you.
already made the decision before
Which,
he came.
if you put Nainggolan and Icardi in this team,
Correct.
how good
That's
would
what I'm
these be?
saying. Yo,
Casano said it today too.
incredible.
Right.
Casano said, imagine you put Icardi and Nainggolan in this
because now
club.
everything still passes by Brozovic.
yeah.
If an opposing coach finds a way to stop Brozovic, you stop the entire midfield.
Plus an extra player. I mean, can you imagine
Fresh
the-
legs.
Hey, Ludo, you got three Italian national team.
Well, yeah,
midfielders.
Politano now that he
What
also
about Barella?
got hurt.
Sensi and Barella. Those are the two.
Sensi is also not not well.
And if you
currently.
but I'm saying if you put in Nainggolan into that mix of four, you got four very good central
That's a
midfielders.
couple more points for
and
sure.
and Icardi again scored for PSG this week.
Well, points wise, they're good. They have nothing to complain.
Yeah.
Points wise, they're okay. I mean,
Oh, they're
they
much
haven't
ahead
been-
of schedule for
yes,
that.
they haven't had so many points in 30 years.
Yeah.
Over
yeah.
30 years, Inter after 12 games then have what 31 points.
Yeah.
When they have it?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think they
31.
dropped 5
31.
points
They're at
altogether
31. They're at
Yeah,
31
last
right
time
now.
it happened was back in 86, 87, something like that.
Yeah,
You
but
know what's sorry, what
No,
were
no.
you
So
gonna
I was
say?
just gonna say, but you have Conte now. That's the difference.
So what I wanted to say about Simone Pepe, who played under Juventus under Conte's first season, he talked about the 3-5-2 in Europe, where we saw Inter again versus Dortmund. First half, phenomenal. Second half came out with 0 in the tank. And Pepe said, you see that game, then you see the game against Barca, where again, came out first, beautiful, amazing. Second half, dead. He said the same thing, Inter, Juve. First half, great. Second half, not good. And he brought up the question, if the 3-5-2, which again, he played in, so he has some context, is very draining for a team. Because obviously, we know the ones in the 5 on the right and the left, they have a lot to do. So he was suggesting maybe there's too much energy being spent in that first half where you're constantly on the go. It's very demanding. Where in the second half, you start losing your energy and you're like, all right, we're going to sit 5 in the back. Those two can't go up. And you need a lot more depth. And he was maybe suggesting that a 3-5-2 should be adapted up. 3-5-2 needs to be moved on for Conte maybe sometimes if you don't have all those players in Europe. Which I thought was interesting.
I believe that when you are ahead in international play in Champions League, you are winning the game comfortably 2-0. You played well the second game. If you are a great team and you have a coach that's able to transmit that mentality, you have to be able to bring that game home, meaning 2-0, 2-1, and not basically the concentration of the players goes down, drops considerably, and now the other team takes over, that they can score a few goals within a couple of minutes
Absolutely.
and basically win the game.
They could have scored even more.
Now, what happened between the mental approach, which is great when you start the game,
Yep.
and now the last 30 minutes, that mental approach drops considerably.
Especially with, I know Conte was
And that's
blamed.
what probably is upset the most, because he expected probably the team, he should be extremely happy with Serie A.
Yeah.
But I think he's a little bit upset is why I'm not able to transmit this mental approach throughout the 90 minutes in Champions League.
But and
the way
especially for the guys that made the mistakes were Skriniar, Godin, and De Vrij, guys that you would say these are the great players of my team. How are these mistakes? We were looking. They had 8-9 players in the box when they conceded the goals to Dortmund. So like, no matter what it is, you
These
can't
guys are
concede a
mentally
goal
exhausted, man.
with that. Anyway,
well, then you need time in order to adjust to the Italian. No. Listen, the way he played with Simeone is different than the way what's his name Conte plays. But even in Serie A now, you have these few teams in Serie A like Parma, like Verona, like Cagliari, Genoa. I won't say Genoa because the way Napoli played against
but
Genoa, it wasn't there.
Genoa put up a fight against Juventus too. They nearly, besides the penalty kick at the
last
end,
minute,
they were 1-1.
It was
So
1-1.
I'm saying
Correct.
Genoa's. They've been
But
tough.
the thing is that these teams now, with these coaches that they have, they're able to read the game so well and prepare the game so well that they're so compact that it's easy. It's easy. It's very hard to score against these guys. And then on breakaways, boom, they just
Take off.
get,
They
look
take
what happened
off.
with Parma today
Parma,
against Roma,
yeah.
Parma against Inter, Verona against Inter. They almost pulled it. They almost pulled it off.
Verona.
Cagliari is having a tremendous
so
season.
far.
They play like PlayStation. Reminds me of Napoli with with Sarri. The
I
way
wanna-
they play.
I want to talk about Napoli, who got
Let's talk about
0-0
Napoli.
Oh, boy.
against Genoa. Obviously, we've already commented on the whole chaos that he's rolling up his sleeves. He's getting ready. He's
Get
going
ready
to war.
fight. He's going to war.
We've commented on everything that's happened. They're informed on all the words that were spoken. We don't have your opinion. Whoever doesn't know, Ludo's Napolitano to the core, born in Napoli. You know the
Eats
symbol.
pizza every day.
Not every day. Well, we had it today.
The symbol of being a Napoli fan. Tell us what you think.
It's a combination of many factors. What's been happening to with Napoli? I think it all started after the Cagliari loss. Even though Napoli played extremely well, I believe over 25, 30 shots on goal, and we couldn't score. And then the 92nd minute, Cagliari on a breakaway, they scored, and that's where Cagliari turned the season
gear.
around. And that's why I think we see them now on at third place. A lot of factors. Number one, too many changes in the formation. Number two, certain players are not happy with their contracts, with their renewals.
Such as who?
Like-
Hold on. The toy broke completely. To me, Insigne is not a real leader, is not a real captain. I
can
think
say
Napoli
that.
is missing someone like Pepe Reina in the locker room that can bring everyone together. Out of these four senators, which I consider to be Insigne, Alan,
Mertens.
Mertens, and Callejon, De Laurentiis, Koulibaly is the fifth wheel, to my opinion. Now you have Mertens and Callejon, which
China.
De Laurentiis already said they're already making a lot of money. They could go wherever they want next year. They're not getting an extra. This is what I'm going to offer them. They're not going to get extra money. They want to go to China. They're free to go. Number one. Number two, I think Alan also was expecting a reasonable raise, something of a raise after the PSG incident that he wanted to leave, and that never
Materialized.
came. Zielinski, to my understanding now, he stopped his agent from talking about renewal because Napoli put it off too long and too many times. Napoli said, we have to wait. And Zielinski said, okay, you want to wait? Then I'm calling it off as of now. Milik also needs to renew his contract. So mentally, the team is not there as a whole. Now, Insigne gets sent to the
Bench.
not to the bench.
To the
He went to
stands.
Tribuna. He went to the stands in Champions League. Now, we know a president, De Laurentiis, which he has a very explosive personality, which means at times it does not count to 3 or maybe to 5 before
He
talks.
shoots.
Sounds like
Now,
somebody I know.
before the game,
Like this guy.
before the game
That's what I was thinking.
against Roma, he decides to say, okay, everybody has to be in the Castel Volturno. You know, we're going to Retiro. I said Retiro in
Training retreat.
a training
Training camp retreat,
Correct.
yeah.
Retreat.
Okay. So now these players said, this is my opinion. These players said, okay, Napoli-Roma, then we have Napoli-Genoa 7 days later. We're going into let's call it retreat, which we're not going to see our families. We're going to play against Rome, against Genova. We're going to go home, pack our bags, and go to our respective national teams and be away from the family another 15 days.
Right.
So that's 15. And 7, that's 20 days.
Yeah.
And that's where everything started.
Is the international break 2 weeks?
Well, a week and a half. Basically,
Yeah,
you have to
10
play
days.
one game.
Yeah.
Well, tonight
Okay.
they have to show up tomorrow morning, and then you have a game maybe Thursday, Friday, and then another game
Okay, whatever.
Tuesday or Wednesday. So it's
Whatever.
another 12, 13 days.
Yeah.
Plus 5. You're talking about 18 to 20 days of
away from your family.
away from the family. So that's where
Wow.
I think everything
I didn't consider that.
probably started in the locker room. Alan went to the vice president and he told him, tell your father that we're not going to go to the retreat. And that's where I thought Insigne, as a captain, should have stepped in and be a little bit more
Vocal.
diplomatic about it. Now, here comes Ancelotti. To me, I consider Ancelotti a great coach. He's a gentleman. He's a guy that always says yes, yes, President. Yes, Mr. President. Yes. And I consider him to be a corporate coach. That's the way I consider him to be, where he always says yes to the De Laurentiis.
Like I like
And
it.
one of the clause on the contract that De Laurentiis said to Ancelotti, you will not coach, in order for you to coach for Napoli, you will not make the same mistake like Sarri did by utilizing only 12, 13 players. You have to utilize everyone on the roster. And a gentleman that Ancelotti said, he said yes to the owner. Yes, Mr. President. Now, here comes the bomb of De Laurentiis about the retreat. So now Ancelotti said, for the first time now, I'm in the middle. What do I do? Do I go left or do I go right? I mean, Andale, because he's the owner, so that's why him and his staff went to the retreat. But on the other side, he cannot say no to the team, because then he loses the locker room. He loses the respect of the players and the unity of the team. He loses that if he goes against the players, which I think up to this point, Conte did not lose the locker room. Yes, they are, but it's more of a mental approach. Napoli mentally, it's not there. It cannot be that against Cagliari you shoot 25 times on goal and you create so many opportunities, and against Genoa you barely have one or two. I mean, they were very weak on their legs. They were mentally, and I thought that yesterday a win was necessary. I didn't care how that victory was going to come about, but I thought they were going to eat the grass. That grass, I thought they were going to eat it.
They didn't push.
They
Napoli
didn't
was
nothing.
not pushing.
It was based. So to me, I see mostly of a mental approach. So now at this point, what do? How do we save the season? Which my understanding is the season, how do you save it? You have to qualify for fourth place. Otherwise, everything changes now. You lose that 35 million by getting into Champions League by qualifying fourth. Forget about second, forget about third. We're not going to make it. We have to be extremely lucky, which I have my doubts at this point, in order to be to finish fourth.
Really?
Damn, that's crazy.
This is my based
That's
on
crazy.
what we're seeing now. Now the other thing is now you have the qualification to the next round of Champions League, which brings another 7-8 million. Forget about Coppa Italia. Coppa Italia, forget about that. We're not even going. Now, how do you save the season now? How do you bring this group together? Is it time to have a technical change, to have a coaching change, and bring someone that can motivate the players? No. At this point, I have my doubts, because now if these problems are still there with these contracts and this mental approach and these players against the club, what can another coach do?
Nothing.
In order to bring this team together and able to motivate. But now, what has happened to this Napoli, there is not even...
This is very good insight.
this is very
I never
announced-
would have considered that. This is great.
There's not even an ounce of Sarri ball left in Napoli. Not even an ounce. Not even 1%. This is a team that has no identity, that has no
Hunger.
that has no hunger. There's no mental approach. They have no identity on the field, no style of play. And for him, between 4-3-3 and the 4-4-2, and now you play, and now you go on the bench, and now you sit. And then you also, on top of everything, now you have the Gulam issue, which they thought they were going to be the player. And I always said, Gulam, after the Man City accident in 2017 in Champions League, this guy will never recover 100%. Mario Rui, to my understanding, is a Brooklyn Italians player.
When you try to put us down,
That guy cannot cross a ball, not even if you, not even
when you try to say about the Brooklyn Italian, we have good players.
Here comes the players that we purchased.
Some of you.
We spent 40 million on Lozano, and I think he's being played a little bit not according to his characteristics. He plays a lot to the back to the keeper. He's a very small player.
Yeah.
He's very weak. not a heavy player. And yesterday, he was more on the ground than he was up.
They keep playing him as striker.
Well,
is a striker.
I think
keep
he was.
going.
I think he was purchased more to be Calleon's future replacement on the right side. Okay, more on the right side to replace Calleon once he retires. But you need a little bit of time to adjust to the Serie A style of play. It's a different, completely championship than any other. More tactical, much closer, less space. Less time to make decisions. It's a very difficult championship. It's not like the Holland or
Dutch
the
league,
it's
yeah.
right. It's a little bit more close. So it takes a little bit of time to adjust. Now we purchased other players. Manolas so far hasn't showed. Him and Koulibaly in the middle, it was like oil and vinegar.
But
It was never
they've-
a marriage.
they've only
Manolas
played-
is
Wes, let me
mate.
go.
Oh my God.
He's a bust.
They only played
He
6
got so
games
mad.
together, and he was mostly injured for most of it.
Yeah,
So you can't
okay.
really judge
I agree.
him.
The Koulibaly
So, yeah,
is
it's not
not
fair
the
to
same
judge that.
Koulibaly that we had in the past. Even though yesterday I thought the second half
Let me
he
ask you a
played really well.
quick question.
Di Lorenzo,
One second, let me
so
finish.
far is the only player from the transfer market
Very
who's
positive.
really, and he got him a spot in the
Nacional.
national team. He's playing really, and he was forced him to play on the left. And then Malquit got hurt. Something happened with Gulam with this mysterious injury again with Gulam. So certain things did break in the locker room, which I think Ancelotti is able to fix. But now everybody has to come together. How do we fix in order to save
The season.
the season?
I thought Manolas wasn't injured.
No, he was.
You told me he wasn't last podcast. You said he wasn't
No,
injured.
I couldn't find anything. But then I saw something. He was under evaluation. So that's why.
Who told you that, Mike? By
The
the way,
newspaper
which
was
team-
Gazzetta.
Which team are you today?
Which team I am today?
No, by the
I'm
way,
gonna stick with-
Ludo, you don't know that his new nickname is Flipper because every week he changes. It's a Napoli team. It's for Napoli. Then it's Juventus.
Flipper.
There's Roma every week. he
Inter,
changes
you missed the team that he
Except
is now.
Milan, because they haven't got a win in how long.
So let's remember that
Yeah.
the teams that Ancelotti coached in the past and where he coached, to my understanding, correct me guys if I'm wrong, 90% of the teams that he coached in the past in different leagues, they were always those teams that were considered the Juventus of those leagues.
They dominated them.
Which means depth on the bench. It means, okay,
Incredible
you're not playing
players.
well, come out, now I get a replacement, boom. And
It's not building.
Yeah, but
Correct.
Ludo.
So
I'm
now,
sorry, Ludo.
now
you
you're
know,
mad.
hold on,
You're
let me
wrong.
finish. Hold on. Now you come to Napoli, which you have a team that's not at the Bayern Munich level, not at the Juventus level,
Real
not at
Madrid.
the other teams that he coached Real Madrid level. You need to be a little bit of creative. And this is what I said in the past. This is what I have in the refrigerator. What dinner can I make from what I find in the refrigerator? And that's what I think Conte, in a year and a half so far, is not be able to
mold it
Conte?
to
together.
mold something
Conte?
to make
Ancelotti.
Ancelotti, I apologize.
Ancelotti, man.
To make something a little bit different. Sarri,
I
yes,
agree
he
with
was
that.
be able
I
to,
agree with that.
to
Yeah.
create something. I mean, we will remember Sarri for something. Even though if Napoli would have done something, I think we could have won that Scudetto. And that's
Yeah.
what 10 years from now, 20 years from now, this is what I will always remember, I will come back to. When we finished the
Damn.
first half of the season in
Jeez.
first place, and De Laurentiis did not buy anyone in January to make the team a little bit stronger.
That's heartbreaking,
And then we
man.
died in March. We completely died and we finished second.
Okay, here's what I
Yeah,
disagree
say what
with
you were
you.
gonna say.
Here's what I disagree with you. If you can win against Liverpool, okay, with the same player that you have right now, okay, Napoli made an upgrade from last year to this year. Napoli spent good money. Oh, you got Lozano.
Lozano, Manolas.
So
You
yeah.
got
why did
Manolas.
they, they did not pay
You got
dividends.
Di Lorenzo.
But either way,
Di
yeah,
Lorenzo
continue.
paid dividends. The
Listen,
others did not pay
continue.
dividends.
You
so
still
far.
have Zielinski. Your roster is much better than what you had with Sarri. The thing is, some of the injuries, like everybody else, and the fact that De Laurentiis.
Okay.
De
Then what
Laurentiis-
happens against Salisburgo last Wednesday? What happened against Genk, the 0-0 that we should have won that game?
Yeah, those are
My
bad.
friend,
Those are
these
bad.
is-
Those are the games.
Those are the games that, again, you do not have leadership. At the Insigne,
Okay.
Insigne, like you said, is not a leader. It's not a
Why is
franchise
Koulibaly
player.
not the leader?
No,
I was surprised you didn't say him.
You know why?
You mean as far as one of the senators?
Yeah,
But
or
it's
like
not a franchise player.
you were saying that
Because I
Napoli
think-
doesn't have a Peperina.
Pepe Reina was the type of guy, even though he did not play, but Pepe Reina had that personality
had a
in the
voice.
locker room. He had a
Koulibaly
voice.
doesn't?
No, I
That-
don't think so.
Really?
At least I never see. He's a great, fantastic
He's
player.
great. Yes,
but vocally,
he's
he's not the
respected.
best.
He's
Yeah,
respected.
I can
He's
see that.
respected by everyone, but he still follows the whatever Callejon, Mertens.
Okay, I understand what you're
Insigne,
saying. I understand what you're
and,
saying.
And
I got
Alan,
you.
say.
I understand.
Those guys
I
say.
understand.
Tell me, Ludo, if you in the last, since Maradona left, if you can call one of these great Napoli players that you can call it the franchise player that identify, hey, the Napoli is Maradona. Who's the
Hamsik.
Napoli now?
Hamsik, yeah.
Okay.
But he
That's
left,
fair. That's
yeah.
very good.
To a certain extent, but Hamsik is gone now. Who's the leader of Napoli? Who's the franchise player? Nobody.
Well, it's supposed to be Insigne.
It's not.
Yeah.
But he's not showing. I don't think he handles because a captain does not get sent for whatever reason to the stand
Yeah.
in a Champions League
Yeah.
And
game.
talk to the people.
And right. So even the way he handled the situation of this
Yeah.
of this retreat, whatever
Yeah.
it's called, he didn't handle correctly as a leader. He doesn't have that personality. I think in this I agree with De Laurentiis when he says Insigne still has to grow up and decide what he wants to do when he gets older.
I mean, but he's not young. I'm not saying he's
I get
old,
it.
but he's not.
But, right.
Was he
It's
27?
not a franchise player,
At
believe
least
me.
28, I was thinking.
Too much money. They give him already too much money
Well,
to me.
he gets 4.5.
It's a lot of money
He
for
renewed
somebody.
against
28 years old.
2022.
He's 28.
He renewed against 2000 and
23, 24.
Against
25.
2022. He renewed.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
was-
think about a lot of those points that you said.
I felt like
didn't
there
know
was a
the contract.
documentary going in my head when you were saying that. I was just thinking about
what?
Did you
Napoli,
rehearse
what's
that?
going on.
Did
No. He wanted to hear those certain things this morning. I said I can't talk. I
That
can't
was very
reveal
good.
Listen. Again, this Manolas has been a bust. I mean, this Manolas, believe me, he was
can't
supposed.
judge it
He was
now.
supposed to be a concrete wall, a reinforced concrete wall in the Napoli defense. But this wall is cracking from all over.
He's like the
places.
Holland Tunnel.
Yeah,
But this
Did you
is
see a lot of
I know,
cracks.
this is what's happening. You have a Manolas like he said only played 6 games.
Yeah, with Koulibaly.
and was not able to create that marriage
He's
that
been there since
Koulibaly
July, though.
had with Albiol. Now, on the other hand, Koulibaly is not the same Koulibaly that we saw in the past couple of years. Since he came back from the Africa, he has
Cup,
not
yeah.
been. He's not in shape.
He had no preseason. He had no rest.
Come on, a Koulibaly of last year would have never committed that penalty against
No,
Salisburgo. That's
no.
an amateur
That was
play.
a lazy move.
That's another play from Koulibaly to foul that guy that he's going out of bounds and he's a foot away from the
out.
sideline.
Yeah.
He would have given up a corner kick. He would have blocked him. But that means mentally you're not there and physically you're not there. He gets beat a lot 1v1. He doesn't have that burst of speed. He doesn't have that anticipation that distinguished him in the past. So now a Koulibaly 100% like in previous years and a Manolas still half and half. Koulibaly could have picked up the slack like he did with Albiol. A lot of times Albiol went on the field.
Yeah.
Most of the
he
time.
was not well 100%.
Yeah,
But Koulibaly was able to.
that's a good point.
make up the gap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. He said, okay, I'll
This-
carry you on my shoulders, Albiol.
But
Don't
this
worry.
gap was
Exactly.
too big
Let's-
right now with all the stuff,
Correct.
all the,
the gap
factors
is
going
to
on.
the gap is to now we don't have a left fullback. A left fullback that we don't have. Why we did not try to purchase? It's not easy to find left fullbacks on the market. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy.
Mario Rui.
No. Mario
Let's-
Rui, Malqui. No, they're not. Then Di Lorenzo was forced to play
You
on
added
the
Hunter.
right side. Another guy that has issues is the Albanian guy.
Kusai.
Oh,
He's like,
Kusai.
I want to leave. No, you're forced to stay. No, I'm not playing. Oh, but I was playing with Sarri, now with Ancelotti, I'm not playing. These are all little things, little
not
voices that
easy,
are.
it's not easy.
So the Napoli issues did not happen against Roma. They've been happening the past couple of months. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. You put everything in a bowl, and then all of a sudden
You create a minestrone.
you create.
Huge
That's
minestrone.
That was great insight. Great insight. But you said
Thank you. I
Roma.
can leave now.
Not over yet.
You mentioned Roma, who's another team that again Parma beat 2-0 today.
They've been having a pretty good
Where
season.
we can't just blame, we can't put all the blame on Peter, who was just bringing Parma luck. What happened to Roma?
Didn't I say that Roma was going to lose?
I think you did.
I did.
I think you
yes.
did.
I didn't expect this, to be honest. Roma
I
were
didn't
doing
expect
good.
this.
They were winning. Fonseca,
Let's
Well,
see.
but now look at Parma. Parma. What did Parma do against Inter last week?
Oh, they
was it
fought.
2 weeks ago?
No,
2 weeks
2 weeks
ago.
ago, I
Two
think.
weeks
Was
ago,
2-2.
Yeah.
Was a great game, a great Parma. They're running. Remember, these guys are playing only one game a week.
That's true.
Now Roma played when? Thursday.
Yeah.
In Europa League.
Yep.
Thursday in Europa League, they played on Thursday evening. Now here comes a team which has a week of rest on their shoulders. These guys that are running 100 miles an hour.
Karamo is
Now-
out to be fair to them, who's one of their most important players.
Better
But
players.
So even there you go. That's the answer right there. It's usually the teams
how do you
that
say that other player's
before
name? The Polish
after
guy?
the Champions League break they usually
Say it.
they usually struggle a little bit. Maybe with the Italian teams, most of all, even I think today Liverpool beat Manchester.
Yeah, City.
3-1.
Yeah, Manchester City, but Liverpool had an easier game than Napoli against Salisburgo. But the teams in Serie A, they usually struggle after the Champions League.
the schedule.
The
schedule is-
mid season.
Ludovico,
Wait,
I
the
got
mid.
it.
Liverpool has a really funny schedule too. Don't they have? There was that thing that went viral that they have a game like on the same day. They were supposed to have like Carabao Cup and a league game or something on the same day. And I think they moved them one day between, and they have to play with two different teams a day in between the games, which is bad scheduling.
Yeah.
Who's the guy from Parma? I can't say his name.
The Swedish winger
Say it.
Kulusevski.
Kulusevski. I mean, this guy is
He's
very
very
Thank,
good.
thank God yesterday for
Very good.
Genoa, they were missing Kwame.
Oh, yeah.
With him, we would have lost the game.
Kwame's
With him on
very
the field,
good.
we would have lost the
Kwame's
game.
very good.
We would have lost the game.
You think so?
I
That
don't know.
Koulibaly goal line clearance too. That was a close one. Koulibaly
Yes,
off the line.
The one he said. Yeah,
That
no,
was going
Koulibaly
on.
yesterday, I
Pinamonti,
think
I
he had
think
the
it was.
best game of the
Listen,
season.
Genoa,
so far.
Genoa.
Wait, but about Roma, like, why did you think that Why did you think that Parma was going to win this one?
Because of the schedule, the heavy schedule on the Coppa of the UEFA League, and then
Europa League.
then Parma's got a team. Parma, they don't mess around. They
And
don't
at home.
stand.
They
don't-
challenge.
They're not waiting for you to, and then they go to a counter attack. They go for it. They got speed on top. They have a very good midfielders. They have the extra Roma player. What's his name?
Gervinho.
Gervinho.
yeah,
And today
striker.
Gervinho was not maybe for the first 15 minutes, and then he had to get out. I don't know for what
Yeah,
reasons.
they took him out
So
second half.
they got speed and they know to handle the ball. I haven't seen Parma's been given hard time like Verona to the biggest
Yeah.
team. So Cagliari is another one of them.
Yeah.
They're not waiting.
Cagliari plays
It's
like
over.
a PlayStation.
There's no easy game.
What went wrong for Roma, though,
What
for you,
went
in
wrong
your
for
opinion?
Roma, to me, what went wrong for Roma, it's mentally the mental.
They were
approach-
drained out.
Yeah, the mental approach was not there. They were just
Thinking about
yeah,
what happened.
yeah, that's it. And they were playing away. Roma plays extremely well when they play in front of their on
Yeah.
the crowd. But when they are away, Roma they wobble around.
But even look at Lazio. Even Lazio struggles in Europa League, and then they come
Celtic.
they played against Lecce today, which another BS goal with the penalty. I thought the penalty the rules that I always knew that the penalty has to be repeated, and it wasn't repeated.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
sweet.
there was
I don't
three
know what's-
people on the
Yeah,
box.
there was three
I don't know-
Lazio players in the box.
I don't know what's happening with this soccer anymore. I think after 12 games already 60, 70 penalties
You
were
know what?
given.
You were-
So now if we
Oh,
continue
yeah,
like
now-
this,
now
if we
anything you
continue
hit
like
is-
this,
Listen, you have a
at
bunch
the end
of
of the
dummies
season
at the
by
bar.
May, we're going to go up to 180, 170 penalties.
Yeah, but if I touch you like this, it's a penalty.
Well, even
there's no
listen,
contact.
I'm not trying to find any excuse. Napoli did not deserve to win. But why wasn't the penalty in favor of Napoli called yesterday on the free kick?
Yeah, we've
when
seen-
the guy raised his hand.
Yeah,
That was
seen
a penalty. That was a penalty.
We've seen even today in the Liverpool game, which I saw a little bit of.
That was not a penalty. The guy
Two
was
penalties,
falling
he
down.
didn't
No, the
the
handball.
handball.
The handball.
Trent. I mean, the guy's arm is extended like this, and what's even worse is Liverpool scored on there. So Man City didn't get a penalty, and then they conceded a goal, and the VAR didn't check. So
Right.
it's not just I think overall our football we need to take a hard look
Correct.
at the way that
So
we're reviewing
now,
a lot of our
basically,
calls.
my understanding is, in order to make the game more spectacular, more goals, they don't want no games to finish 0-0. The fans have to
This
be
is not
happy.
the right way to do
Excitement.
it. This is not the
Now,
right way.
in order to improve this, to have more spectacular game,
No,
let's
no.
invent the rules and put amendments and put this
No,
rule on top
no,
of
no.
that rule in
That's
order
horrible.
to try to create something in order to create these goals so the fans are happy and they continue watching on TV. and they continue coming back to the stadium.
But this is not the right way to do it.
Because the rules
That's
are
not
not
the right way
clear.
to do it. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, the same scenario can happen in game
Yeah,
A.
exactly.
And the same scenario in game B.
And
Yeah.
different result.
And different
Exactly.
result and different calls are being made.
And also in different leagues too. Like there's certain things that are
horrible.
called in Champions League, certain things are not.
Correct.
In England, this one's called. In Italy, that one's not called. Overall, I think that I always thought it was wrong that VAR is not in Europa League, but
Correct.
it is in Champions League. Like,
Do you wanna
and it's gonna be
eliminate-
it's gonna be in the knockout stages.
Marco,
Makes no sense.
Okay. Do you want to eliminate? Do you want
No,
the scores
no.
to be 6-0? This is what you do. You do what we do with the old timers of here at the Brooklyn Italian.
What do you do?
No offside, and make the nets another 10 times bigger. That's the only way.
But this is what they're trying to do. Yes, they created VAR, which I think helps in a certain way. It helps with the offside very well.
Oh,
It-
yeah.
it does
Oh,
that.
yeah,
I
big
mean,
time.
it did fix that issue. I like that.
For the most part.
that the linesman has to wait until the last second because even in doubt, he's going to keep it down because okay, I have
Just
a
in
peace of
case.
mind. VAR is going to check it anyway, even though I did not pick up my flag. That I agree. But now the rules that were created, regardless of VAR, that now VAR cannot pick up. It's like this VAR and these rules and regulations, everybody is saying, but what the hell is this? Is this a penalty?
Oh
Is
yeah,
it-
it's so confusing.
It's
even the
confusing for
players,
everyone.
even
No,
the
no,
players,
Even for the players.
The
No,
players
no.
sometimes
It's getting
they're
to the
calling
point
stuff that
these
they don't
players, especially the defenders, you have to teach them how to play like penguins.
know. Yeah.
It's
You
true.
got to tie their
No,
leg,
it's true.
their hands, and they just got to walk
No,
like this in the
no,
box.
De Laurentiis said it the right way. We said it before, the week before here. We said in the VAR box or whatever, who's looking at the game from the stands. I mean, from the TV on the TV room.
To put an next player.
No,
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it is a
Whoever-
very good idea.
I will
That's
put-
a
I will
great
put an
idea.
ex-player.
I
Casano,
agree.
Casano.
I will put a player
That's a
that
great idea.
retired.
Because they understand the motion of the game.
listen to me. Listen to me.
I agree with that.
You're supposed to put non-Italian ex.
Yeah, but it happens. But it happens in every league, though.
And even the referees, they should not be Italian
No,
because
I think you should have an ex-player that retired.
yeah, I agree with that.
That knows, the body motion,
The
the
flow.
feel, the speed, the flow of the game, the way the body's supposed to be on certain, and then he can recommend. He can recommend
What's
the
natural? What's not
Correct.
natural?
Now, you have this VAR
I
that
know.
basically
Christ.
you have this ref. The ref is still a human being. So now you have this VAR that says, and these refs behind the VAR that say, do I go against him or I don't go him? Oh no, he's still the ref. I don't want to take authority away from him because he saw the call and he looked decisive on that call. Let me keep my mouth shut
Which
and
is so
not call.
stupid. Let's go to Cagliari, which is having an absolutely incredible season. They were in 4th place right now, and they beat Fiorentina, who we all predicted this was going to be a very tight game since both teams, like to play.
Yeah.
They won 5-2 against
Marco, you called
Fiorentina.
a win.
For who? For
Cagliari,
Cagliari. Yeah. I thought Cagliari had the edge.
But not like this, though, right?
And like Ludo has said a couple times on this podcast, they play beautiful football. They are in a 10-game unbeaten streak. And for Maran, and for all this talk about not having great players and, injuries and all this kind of stuff, Cagliari's been hit with, doesn't have the biggest players, doesn't have the biggest
Pavoletti's
signings.
hurt.
Pavoletti, their goal scorer, is not there. But this team finds a way to win based off of how they play, and they got a great philosophy. So much respect to Cagliari. I love
Maran
watching.
is
They're
a great
so
coach. He's
exciting
done really
to watch.
well, even in previous clubs that he has coached. He's done really.
Yeah, but he
he's
wasn't
done
good.
really.
There's
so
something in the sun over there that they're just.
Well, he's one of those coaches. Again, I go back to what I said 10 minutes ago. Here's the coach that, if you give him the correct ambiance, the correct atmosphere, and you have the club that supports you and backs you, and then you have certain plays. Okay, this is again, I don't want to repeat myself. This is the refrigerator. This is what I have. Now, how can I be creative as a coach and make a great dinner from what I found in this club in the refrigerator? And he's able to mix these guys that they really play. Look at Olsen.
Phenomenal.
Olsen was a
goalkeeper.
bust in Roma.
And
Phenomenal.
listen, he's taken over Cranio that's injured too.
Correct.
by the way.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Again, it's
Simeone,
mental,
who wasn't
correct.
wanted at
It's
Fiorentina.
the mental approach. It's the club that supports you. It's the ambiance. It's the city.
It's the
all
sun.
these ingredients, and then you have a great
It's the
coach.
food. It's the food.
It's the food.
And it's also the great coach that's able to create something to be on the field and create a style of play.
It all lined
that
up
is
perfectly
best.
for them
Correct.
right now.
Adaptable to
Listen,
these type of players.
The confidence, when somebody's playing with confidence,
Yeah.
under a coach that
Oh,
appreciates you,
exactly.
that you're making a mistake, you're not worried that he's going to just stop you or,
And
or
then, of
execute
course, on
you.
everything, you need a little bit of
Execute.
luck. You need a little bit of luck.
Execute.
In life, in everything you do, you
Yeah.
need a little bit of luck to be at the right place at the right time.
But you have to line
Here
yourself
comes a-
up with the luck
Correct.
to take
Here
it.
comes a cross. A cross goes directly, a little bit touches the opponent's hair and lands on the guy's head. Boom, it's a goal.
But you have to. But you also have to be ready for that cross and put yourself in that position.
I agree.
Which is
now you take a shot on goal. The
It hits the
goalkeeper
guy-
makes
yeah,
a save.
exactly.
The save goes on the foot. He passes the ball in the middle. Boom, the guy's.
and that's why you always have to take that shot though. To get the luck.
Correct.
To get the luck, you have to take the shot.
Correct.
If you're not
So
getting
good for
close to
them.
the fire, you're not going to get burned. Now, there are other teams that they never get close to the penalty box. That's why they never score. Cagliari is always challenging
Correct.
that box.
I know
So
what
if
I'm
you
trying
don't get
to say.
closer
5
to the
goals.
fire, boom.
Sometimes
You need the luck, absolutely.
Sometimes a coach's renewal of contract or a coach's success is divided between a player. Remember, it's always the
Oh,
players
yeah.
that go on the field. It's divided by a goal that a player scores or the post that he hits.
Liverpool lost
That
the
can-
league on inches, on centimeters.
Correct.
The
That's-
details, the devil's in the details on some of these.
Correct. It's basically on the details that decides if a coach is successful or is not successful. But regardless of the coach, it's always the players that go on the field. You have to have the players that are able to execute your style of play and what you have in mind and what you're able to transmit to those players. They have to be able to execute the game plan.
On a scale of 1 to 10, if you have a good, let's say, a great team and a coach behind, if you in a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give the how many
importance of a
the
coach
importance
versus-
of the coach comparing to the players that you have on the team? It's like 5 and 5. 5 is the coach. Okay, great job, coach.
Yeah,
You
we got it,
5.
we got it.
The rest of you guys.
Well, the players still
understand
have
the
to
math.
execute. But
Right.
again, you have to have the coach that's able to motivate
So,
his players.
so on a
He
scale of
has
1 to 10, what
transmit
is the
style
importance of the
play.
coach? The important,
Very important.
So what is it?
He wants a
6,
number. He
7?
wants a number.
Well, to me, if the players are able to execute your style of play, I think the coach is between 6 and 7.
Okay.
Because now the coach has to study throughout the week in order to put his players in the best possible position in order to beat the opponent. I got to study the opposing team as of Monday until Friday.
Right.
Then I have a team meeting and say, okay, today we play
hand
against
gestures are
Atalanta.
phenomenal.
These are the weaknesses of Atalanta. On the left side, they have this left fullback that only kicks with his left foot. His right foot is only to stand up. I'm just giving stupid example. But in the middle, they're a little bit weak. So all these you have to bring to the attention of your players. And now they have to be intelligent enough in order to execute the game plan. You have to be able to motivate week after week. Now you lose a game. You're unlucky. How do you motivate them back? This is where and of course you need to have a club that supports you in the back. That whatever the coach does or says, he has the club behind that says, okay.
So,
Wait, one
like
second.
you said,
Speaking of motivated players, because we're missing the biggest storyline here, Raja Nainggolan is just, newly born under this Maran and this Cagliari, where he's at home, he's happy, he's living good football again. And like he said, and Michael had brought up today, he said, what was his quote when he left Inter? He said, I want to prove to Inter that they made a mistake in letting me go. And I think we're seeing that both at Inter and we're seeing at Cagliari that he is performing
Mark, I
at
have to
his
disagree
best
with
of
you.
level. Why?
Nobody ever put in discussion that Nainggolan is not a player. Now, if Nainggolan does not get called from by the national team, if Nainggolan was let go by Inter, it's not because he doesn't know how to play soccer. We all
of
agree
course.
that he's a great player.
Of course.
It's the lifestyle.
Of course, I'm saying
Now,
a quote from him, though.
right.
His
Cagliari-
quote was, I want to prove them wrong.
The expectations of Cagliari are not the same of the Belgium national team and, of course, Inter. But when you come home at 5 o'clock in the morning and you smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a day and you come home drunk at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's not a lifestyle of a player that you want to
I think what he's trying to say is, though, from his perspective, and if you put yourself in your shoes, where you're kicked out of a club, you have this vendetta where you're like, even if he understands that.
Agree.
He's said multiple times, like, I know that they don't like this, I know they don't like this, but in his head, you have to create a villain sometimes. So for him, it's like, I want to prove
motivation.
that exactly. It's kind of like a motivating thing where maybe it's not necessarily true that they kicked him out for that, but he's saying, I just want to prove to them that I still would have it in me no matter
what. He did not get kicked out because of one incident.
Yeah.
I'm sure there was multiple warnings, multiple times that he got caught doing things. And it's not only Inter. Now it's also the national team.
But either way, good for him. I wanted to say, I'm happy for him. Say it, Mike.
But now in Cagliari, he can, when you play one game a week.
Exactly.
Now,
You can get away with more stuff.
Absolutely.
It's
Now
a smaller
Monday,
club.
Tuesday, let me go out, come back at 4 o'clock in the morning. I still got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday to
What were you gonna say, Mike?
make up.
I was just gonna say, Raja used to be like my favorite player, even over Manolas when he was at Roma.
No, not over Manolas.
Watching him seen today, I was like, wow, this is like Roma's Raja right here. And every time he had the ball, he was controlling the game. He had 3 assists. He got a goal. He just looked like I only saw a few Cagliari games, but he looked possessed.
But even
so much fun to
Barco,
watch.
Here's a player that
That's true.
today
Yeah.
we
Oh my God.
really miss.
You guys
We
gave up
really,
on Rock.
he
You
wanted
were
to
in
play.
Napoli.
He wanted to play, and I think he would have been the ideal substitution for Alan. To give Alan. Now we don't have a sub for Alan to play that position. Even though Zielinski, I think, should be more in the middle and not to the side. But Rogue was the.
Get some questions?
Well,
Yeah,
let's
grab some
finish
questions,
up with
Mike. Yeah,
Nainggolan.
yeah, finish.
Nainggolan. Okay, Nainggolan has got his wife that is still battling cancer, number one. Number two, Nainggolan to me is one of those free-range chicken that doesn't have to be told what to do on the field. Nainggolan is very capable of reading the game. It's like Cassano. It's like a few other players that they know what to do with the ball.
I'm sure they party together.
And they don't need coaches to tell them exactly how to move and where to go. They know what they're doing.
I would love to see a team made by you.
That
would be the most
They
fun
never
team in the
listen to
world.
That's why
That would be the-
Nainggolan has been given
They
the
would tell
freedom.
him what to do.
Nainggolan has been given the freedom to do what he does.
He'd carry their shoes.
and to be at his best, and that's why the Cagliari has they're benefiting on. Whether he comes back home drunk, or whether he comes back home not drunk, or whether he comes back home at 3 o'clock, or he doesn't come back home at all. Nobody cares. Everything's just.
It's not as demanding.
You know why? You know why? Because Marotta is a stiff. You know, those people, they think they're running the army. You're not in the army over here. In the army, you're supposed to be.
He's just mad about
professionals.
Cassano.
Let him keep going.
He's
Let him
bringing
keep going.
Cassano.
Let him keep
I
going.
served on the Air Force. This is not the army. This is a soccer organization.
You have to act as a professional. You are a professional. You have to act as a professional.
On the field.
But what about
field,
Maradona then?
Come on.
No, Maradona.
Now he
Maradona-
could get away with it.
No. Maradona cannot get away with it. But there was only number one. There was only one Maradona.
I know, I agree, but you're saying you have to act as a professional because it's not
correct.
fair.
Maradona did not act as a professional. Maradona followed certain people that he was not supposed to follow. He did certain things that he was not supposed to do. He never practiced, and I agree with that.
I agree with you, by the way. I'm just throwing it into the scenario because, you know, if you say everybody has to act like a professional, there's a threshold
know
of you're
if-
so amazing that you could get away with it.
Well, Maradona back then it was different style of soccer. Maradona was unique, the greatest player of all times. And back then you only played between 35 and 40 games a year. Compared to now, on a big team, you play between 75 and 80.
But if Maradona was on Napoli, like you're saying, you have to have it as a professional today, and he did this kind of stuff, he went out drunk, you would kick Maradona off?
No, Maradona will not kick off.
I know. I'm
Because Maradona
I'm playing
is a
devil's
player that can
advocate.
make the
I'm just playing
difference.
devil's advocate. That's
Because
it.
Maradona is a
And
player that
I
can make
think
the
I think
difference.
wait 1 second, because I think Antonio's point is that he is making the difference. Nainggolan is making the
He's a
difference.
big player.
Is what he's trying to
Now
say
you're
for
trying to
Inter.
compare Nainggolan to Maradona.
I'm
No,
not. It's not
but
the
we're
same.
comparing
But the
we're
rules,
comparing
you're
them.
comparing the
No,
rules for
we're
everyone.
comparing the rules and we're comparing the threshold
Yeah.
of making the difference.
Exactly.
If that's the thing, because Nainggolan would technically make a difference at Inter. But
big time.
and by the way,
No,
I agree
but-
with you that you have to act as a
Playing
professional.
devil's advocate,
I
like,
agree.
this
I'm
is-
just throwing it in
I'm
there.
just saying that in today's Cagliari, and the team that only plays once a week,
Yes,
and
makes so much sense.
And Nainggolan's style of life,
Yeah,
he could
I
continue.
agree.
He
I
could
agree.
continue doing that.
I agree. Yeah.
But
I got
not
you.
in Inter where you're playing 3 games a week.
Yeah.
You have
I understand what
Champions
you mean.
League,
Yeah.
and the expectations are much higher than they are in Cagliari.
Anto, grab this side. We had a nice guest this week. Antonio met him. We had David Amoyal, who I'm sure a lot of you guys know from our podcast. He gave us this Padova scarf. It was a 100th year anniversary. We'll leave it. Well, I forgot to grab it before, but David came by. He came by the studio. He met Antonio. I felt bad that he had to hang out with Anto for a little bit. Really great guy. You got to check out his podcast too. Yeah. He says some he read Cassano's book.
He did good.
Yeah, I
good.
remember he was telling you.
He's one of the few champions. It's the only one. That's why we call it free-range chickens. Those guys. Those guys.
So you're calling Cassano chicken?
Those guys. That's why Cassano and Capello they collided, because Cassano is a talent. You cannot really tell somebody that knows to play soccer what to do.
You got to call him a chicken.
You can't. You can't tell. You cannot really tell. You cannot tell an Angolan what to do. Whether to drink a Coca-Cola or whether to drink a shot of whiskey. The guy's gonna drink what he likes.
You got questions, Mike?
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got some questions.
So end of the story.
Questions.
Now we got some questions. Again, through our WhatsApp number, 347-460-7036. Message us on WhatsApp. Mike, read the question.
Augustine, he's a Juve fan.
Oh,
he's
God.
saying, what's going on with Juve? Is it Sarri's tactics or is it the players, and what should they do to fix it?
I think the midfield is obviously not good enough, which we've said many times, but I think that Sarri's tactics still never went in. And Ludo made a video, we'll link it right now, on Sarri ball and Sarri's tactics. And I think you said it was going to take a big adjustment period. I don't remember how long you said it was.
It's not the adjusted period. It's like everyone still remembers Sarri ball in Napoli. In Napoli, he had certain players with certain characteristics that they were able to adjust to his 4-3-3 extremely well, and you saw a wonderful style of soccer that everybody enjoyed watching. He went to Chelsea, he had to adjust according to what he had at Chelsea, and he was hoping that Chelsea's player, Hazard, which I consider one of the best players in the world when he's healthy, is one of those players that decides whether you're going to lose or you're going to win that day. Mm-hmm. And that's what Sarri always said. I looked at Hazard in the morning before the game, a few hours, see the way he looked. If he looked okay, I knew we were going to win today. If he didn't look that well, I knew we were going to lose. So he had to adjust to that style of play. Now he comes to Juventus. Of course, you do not have the same players that you have in Napoli. Yeah. The only adjustment he had to make is that before Pjanic with Allegri maybe was touching 15, 20 balls a game, and now with Sarri he has to touch more than 60, 70 balls a game. He has to touch in order to do those plays. But they're not the same players, and you're not going to see the same.
So basically,
style
a mix of both, a big mix of not having those players and also adapting to where it
adapting
is.
To the players that you have in your roster. Now, if you can create something according to what you have, and then you always have a plus, because at any given moment, Dybala, perfect example today, anybody can come in from the bench where you might think that game is going to finish 0-0. Here comes somebody from the bench and snaps his fingers.
Costa last week, Dybala this week, Ronaldo another.
You have those players that can decide against.
What else we got, Mike?
This is from Moody. He's a Milan fan. He said, "Do you guys think Milan have the quality and depth, but they lack a mental ability to close a game?"
They don't have quality and depth. I wouldn't say they have quality and depth. I do think they lack mentally, but
I think
take it on top.
They don't have anything, you're saying?
I think
they have some quality.
No, Marco said
I didn't say that. Ludo said it.
the team is,
Throw something at him, not me.
the team
Please.
is a mediocre team right now.
Yeah.
All we're doing is just licking our wounds because we do not have quality right on top and right on defense. We are good in the midfield. I think we have a very good midfield.
I would say the opposite.
No, we have a very good midfield, and we do not have a defense, and we are lacking on a forward that it's a power forward. This Piontek
He's so bad. I mean, some of the chances that he had today, he would have buried last year.
Yeah, no, it's not.
What you know? What's funny? Cassano brought up too, Mandzukic, who I completely forgot Mandzukic existed.
It would be perfect for AC Milan.
And he said, listen, if Juventus is not using him, why not toss him to AC Milan? Which I think he would be perfect. Him,
Ibrahimovic,
Zlatan.
as much as I didn't like him, the idea, but Ibrahimovic will make a big difference.
The way usually Juventus thinks is if they have a great player that is not happy and they want to sell, they don't want to make one of their competitors stronger.
Is
They don't
Milan?
like to
Milan's
sell
not a
players.
competitor though.
They don't want to. Well,
They're not
like-
fighting for
but they don't want
Scudetto.
to. They don't
He's
want to
right,
sell
he's right.
anybody in Italy. They want to try to sell.
Well, they gave
always
Higuain.
outside.
They gave Caldara.
Yeah. Caldara, we never used him one game.
I know. I'm just saying that they gave him
he's
to
injured.
you. I'm
One
just.
game.
I'm just
Never
saying that they
once.
gave him to you.
What's the next question?
Yeah. What's the next
Okay,
question?
Next question. This one's for Anto. Anto, if you could pick 3 Inter players to play for Milan, who would you pick?
Oh, this is good.
Okay, Barella will be one of them.
Uh-huh.
Sensi will be another one of them.
Oh,
And
midfield.
Icardi, even though he doesn't
When-
play for Inter anymore, I'll take him. And Banda too. I'll take 4.
Okay.
I respect those decisions. I don't know who else you could go for. Candreva, no?
No.
No? Asamoah?
No.
I was gonna say we kind of answered this, but this one was for Ludo, for Napoli.
What was the name? Do you have a name on there?
No, they didn't
Okay.
send the name. Some of them didn't send it. But they said, do you think their Scudetto hopes are over? And if so, what position do you think Napoli will finish in?
Coppa Italia, that's your only hope.
Scudetto, absolutely 100%, no
Already?
doubt, absolutely, no doubt in my mind. We got to try to fix if we want to finish 4th, which at this point I have my doubts.
Wow.
I think the national team break came at the right time, which you're able to regroup, and these players get out of Naples for a week and a half, and then they come back, and hopefully Ancelotti is able to
Press the reset button.
yeah, now we have Milan on
You're
the
going to
23rd.
really need to push
Oh my
that button.
God.
We have Milan on December 23rd. And then, of course, we'll see. Basically, we will have an answer
November 23rd, not December.
November 23rd. We have Milan Napoli at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, New York time.
Oh my God.
Very nice.
And December 10th is the last game of the Champions League. I think after December 10th, the Champions League, we'll see exactly what Napoli we will see in January through May when we're gonna finish. But
couple-
at this point, I have my doubt that we'll finish 4th based on the way.
That's
on the
crazy.
first
That is
qualifier.
crazy.
Couple transfers. There's rumors of Mertens could possibly leave in even January.
Absolutely false.
They're saying to Inter.
100%.
So you're saying Corriere and Gazzetta are wrong?
Absolutely 100%.
Wow.
Hey, you heard it from a horse's mouth. So why you keep asking?
Am I asking it to
Absolutely
Mertens?
No. He's telling you that it's not happening. So
No, I think Mertens will finish the season
year.
in Napoli, even though he wants to stay. But
Or if
I
he left
think
in June.
It's nice to. I think it's time
Absolutely
to
false.
rebuild, to change, and to start the new players. But a lot of things will happen depending if you qualify for Champions League. If you do not qualify, then you cannot keep certain players because you cannot keep up the salaries.
Hypothetically, if he would leave in January or June, if that makes you feel better. June? Is June okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
okay.
He could leave in June? Okay. Just got to make sure. I got to pass it through.
I don't
Ludo.
think Mertens would play in any other team in Serie A.
Wow. Okay.
That's my opinion.
What do you think, Anto?
listen,
Do you think it's a good move for Inter? Do you think it would be a good move for him?
I don't think Inter needs Mertens.
Really?
I really don't. Where are they gonna put him?
Strikers.
What they're gonna do?
Another striker.
They
Who
got
you gonna bench?
Lukaku.
For
They got
Lautaro.
yeah.
What do you mean?
Get rid of Lautaro?
Not get rid of him.
You gotta
Lautaro
start
could be a bench
two.
Player. Lukaku.
So Mertens on the bench to start.
No, not Mertens on the bench. Lukaku on the bench and Mertens together. Well, not immediately. Slowly
So
go
you're gonna put
in.
85
Lukaku.
million on the bench for 25 million? How much you see?
25 million?
Guys, the
Mertens
thing
was
is-
Mertens,
better
I don't
than
think
last
Mertens would
season.
walk
The
in.
thing is,
Talking
Mertens'
about-
contract is over in June. So now, if Napoli has to give him away, you're not going to be able to sell this player
Yeah, it's free.
because his contract ends in
So,
June.
yeah.
So now you have to give him basically for free if something extremely happens in the
Transfer
locker
market.
room. Why would you give somebody away for free that you can use? I mean,
Right.
listen, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I think yesterday the only three that showed some
Attachment.
initiative,
Right.
that a little bit of spark was Koulibaly, Zielinski, and Mertens. Mertens was the only player up front that was able to create a little bit of chaos,
Chaos.
a little bit of space, a
I
little
agree,
bit of
I agree.
opportunity.
More than Insigne.
Koulibaly,
More
one of the
than
best
Insigne.
games, and Zielinski, when he moves to the middle and not to the side, is more decisive. He can dictate the play, and he's more of the player that we know him to be. So I don't think Mertens is gonna go anyway. Mertens wants to be Napoli at least until June and try to become the all-time leading
Yeah.
scorer of Napoli.
Anto.
And he's very close to Hamsik. He already beat Maradona.
Yeah.
but he's very close to Amsic.
I have two questions for you. Number one, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. You had said in the past that you weren't a fan. Would you take him now? Because the MLS commissioner says he's being recruited by
AC
Milan.
Milan is not in a desperate position,
But very close to that.
You know, but we
Absolutely not.
We need a
I will not
spark. We need a spark offensively, and I know that Ibrahimovic is not what we think he is or he was back then. But I think he can still make a difference in Serie A. Now, is he going to be a difference maker for AC Milan? I'm not sure about that. But I will definitely, if he's coming in on a free transfer market, I will definitely take my chance.
Yeah, he'll be a free transfer.
Beggar cannot be choosers.
I will not
much around.
I will not take the chance.
He's 38 years old.
I will.
Okay, here's my take on this, and I'll be very brief. To all due respect to the MLS championship, the practices, the intensity, the concentration is not the same as European soccer. Do we all agree on that?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So now here comes this guy that comes from Europe, and they give him a certain amount of money. He has to show up, and people taking pictures and selling the tickets and giving interviews on TV to show up, try to play, score a couple of goals. Everybody is happy. The fans are happy. The MLS is happy. This guy is not in shape. Here comes now in January, he comes to Italy, just like Beckham did. Now, this guy has to get in shape at 38 in order to keep up with the Italian Serie A or any other league, competitive league. He has to get in shape. That's not going to happen for at least 2 months before he's able to get into game situation and to find a decent body and mental shape coming from the MLS. To all due respect to the
You don't have this
MLS.
We know.
Now, it's already March. Now you got 5-6 games left. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I
but
have
what
my
if he...
doubts.
Okay,
Well-
but 2 months from now, it would be January. So couldn't he start
MLS
training right
is
now?
over.
Well-
No,
MLS
he's
is
still
over.
under no, he's still under contract.
Yeah, but he
Yeah.
could be training on his own.
Gaetano.
No, he's still under trying.
But how about the locker room mentality? We all know he's a top dog and he can bring the mentality. And only
He could also bring the
went to
mentality.
last-
Remember, he's very.
Milan went to the last match they could win a Champions
Remember,
League.
he's also
That's a great...
he's
that was a
also very
fantastic...
explosive.
That's a very good
He's
point,
also
Mike.
very
Milan
explosive.
needs something right now. They don't have anything going for
That was
them.
a very good
They need
point.
experience.
That guy's a troublemaker.
He can bring a winning mentality to
I
a club that
agree.
doesn't
Yeah,
have
but
it
how
right
much
now.
how much trouble do you guys already have? You might as well take your chances
That's
on
what I'm
taking it.
saying.
That's a really good...
Are
good,
you willing? Are
that's
you
a
willing
great
to
point,
take a
though.
chance and try also to break? Because this guy, he reminds me, well, a lot of players that he doesn't count to 3 before he talks. He
Yeah, he's a loose cannon.
Correct,
Whatever.
he's a loose cannon.
Okay.
It seems
So
that
here
aligns
comes
with Milan
Milan.
these
Here I
days.
am, with his chest out. He comes in the locker room. Here I am. All right, who are you? But no, you listen to me. But you're Paquetá. Who's Paquetá? I'm Ibrahimovic. You listen to me. You do what I tell you to do.
Yeah,
You go to the bathroom now and come out in 5 minutes.
But don't you kind of
understand?
need that a little bit?
I have my doubts.
Ludo, this is what I think is going to happen on AC Milan. If Boban and Maldini, they have some sort of a respect as a player to Ibrahimovic and they still have a relationship, Ibrahimovic is an AC Milan player. If they think that this guy here can add to what we're lacking right now, which is scoring, we can really put the ball on the net. We create all the way up to the top of the box. We get into the box. We can have really put the ball behind the goalkeeper. If this guy here, you telling this is your only job, we don't want you to come back and at midfield or defense. Just be ready to just maybe head the ball in or just be the difference maker. This could be a good idea. Only if Maldini and Boban, this is not up to AC Milan, the money, the free transfer, they have to do a technical evaluation of the player. They have to see whether the guy really wants to go to AC Milan or whether the situation it's ripe for him to come back to play, or maybe this is going to be nothing but a bust. If he doesn't come to AC Milan, he's not going anywhere else. He's not going to Bologna, I'm telling you right now. And he's not going to another bottom of the draw field. It's either going to come to AC Milan, Inter Milan, Napoli could be another good market. That's it.
Fiorentina?
Fiorentina, why not?
So let's conclude things. But
It's not going to a Bologna, or Verona, or Parma. Nah, it's coming.
Body?
Either AC Milan, maybe. It's coming either to AC Milan, Napoli, Fiorentina. I'm not sure. Fiorentina's got Chiesa. They don't want to create a problem over there.
He's a striker.
You know,
It's a different
Body,
position.
speaking of Body, Castrovilli
Yeah.
called up to the national team.
He deserves it.
I agree with you.
He deserves it 100%.
How do you feel? Who's the last player from Bari that's been called up to the
Casano.
national team? Was it Casano?
Yeah. Hey,
Really?
Wait. Hey, Bari created nothing but tremendous amount of players for the Italian national team.
Ranocchia maybe.
Okay?
Maybe Ranocchia. Wait, Ranocchia is actually not from Bari?
He's not from Bari.
Yeah,
but
he
in
just
Bari.
played there.
Conte played in Bari. Ranocchia played in
I
Bari.
meant players from
Carrera played
Bari.
in Bari.
No, but I meant players from Bari is what I meant.
Yeah, probably Casano, bro.
But either way, Castrovilli has been phenomenal. You haven't commented on it. Have you liked him a lot?
Yes.
Really good,
Yes,
right?
no, but I like Mancini that he gives
Chances.
opportunity chances to these young players. He watches. He goes to watch all the games, and not only certain games where certain players play. So I like I like Mancini, the work that he's doing, and if a player deserves to be called up, he deserves a chance. But always the type of players that can create the group, can follow the structure, rules, regulations. And even today, Balotelli did not get cannot get called, and he's not going to get called.
What a great first 3 months though for Castrovilli. He must be on cloud 9. The guy
Absolutely.
plays in Serie A, his debut. The guy's scoring goals. The guy is one of the most important players in my opinion for Fiorentina, and now he gets the Italian national team call up.
And
so
he's
great,
somebody.
and he looks like he's got a head on his shoulders too.
Even Di Lorenzo, the right fullback of Napoli.
Yeah, another
great
one. He's
signing.
good, he's really
great.
good.
I'm
The guy
happy to
can-
see some of
the guy
these
can
kids.
cross the ball, and he could take a man on 1v1.
And I like that, like I've said about Castrovilli and Di Lorenzo too, they seem to not get scared inside of the big matches. I really look at that.
Personality.
Yeah, they have these characteristics where in the past, in my opinion, some of these Italian players that we've hyped up, you see them
even,
in important
Marco,
matches like
even,
Bernardeschi. Where does he go?
Damn, you hate him.
Even
goes into a
Sensi,
ground.
Even Sensi.
No, Sensi's
if
great.
Sensi is healthy,
Yeah.
Oh.
He's
and you
Sensi's
put
phenomenal.
Sensi outside the box
What about the
as
Brescia player? What's his name?
Tonali.
Tonali.
He,
He
just
he's
got
there.
balled up.
as an attacking forward, this
Yes.
guy with his dribbling in tight spaces.
Versus Barcelona, this guy was controlling the ball, controlling the tempo.
you
I
go.
love a player that does not get scared in big matches. And I see this characteristics in these
So
players.
now
that
we
we've
already
mentioned.
qualified. He knows, Mancini knows certain players. He knows who he can count on. I think he already has more or less 14 to 15 players, which he will take,
core.
the core that he will take next year to the Europe. Now he has to choose the other 6, 7, 8 players. I think 22, 24. Now give a chance to these guys to play
Exactly.
on Wednesday, Thursday against Bosnia, and then who else
Exactly.
we got to play against? I don't know.
Finland, I think.
No.
Or Armenia.
Well, these two
Armenia, I
games,
think.
you already qualified. Give these guys the opportunity.
Exactly.
Of course, always keep the spinal cord, on the field to let's say, keep the damages down.
Reduced,
But
yeah.
Reduce your damages. Keep the spinal
Give
cord.
Meret a chance to play once in a while.
Meret is better than Donnarumma.
Even
That-
Oh, that's what the beef was.
Right, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it
Meret is
was.
a better goalkeeper
Wait,
than
the only
Donnarumma.
problem with
Let's hear
Meret is he's got buttered fingers. So
yeah, but that
the
mistake.
ball,
But
hello.
the saves, he's very.
Where'd it go?
Meret is very explosive. He's an explosive goalkeeper. He made one game. He made 4 consecutive, 3 or 4 consecutive saves. He got up.
Oh, I remember that.
There's no.
That's what it was.
Not
You guys-
even
no
close.
no
Not
comparison.
even close.
You think Donnarumma is better?
By far.
By
And
far.
Donnarumma is
Yeah.
from Napoli too. That's what makes it the worst.
I remember also a few maybe 6, 7 months ago that Piontek was better than Milik. He also said.
I never said that. Never said that.
you
Ludo's
did.
bringing the past back.
Your nose is gonna grow like Pinocchio. Your nose is gonna grow like Pinocchio. Remember, we have technology here. We can bring it up in.
Do me a favor.
In 2 seconds.
Don't invite this guy here to the podcast anymore. He's troublemaker.
Yo, this is what's so funny because back in the day, I'm sure you guys have argued over dinners, over games, and all this stuff. Now we have it recorded, so anybody could go back at any time.
Correct.
Anto, you did say that though.
Anto.
You did say.
I don't know. Maybe I was drunk. I don't remember that.
Even if you're drunk, you still said it. Anyway, that was hilarious. I'm
That was a
happy
good
that we got
podcast.
to the bottom of that because that was the thing that,
That
we
was,
were talking
that was gonna
about.
keep me up at
Yeah.
night. I was like, what the hell did we have to talk about?
Guys, again, send us a message on WhatsApp, 347-460-7036. Anytime Anto, Ludo, anybody's here, we're responding
do
to
voice
messages.
messages, videos,
Make
we
sure
do a
you
bunch
send
of
your
stuff.
name, though. Make sure you send your name.
Yeah.
A couple people, they're not sending their names. You had fun responding to people, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
He was making fun of some Juve fans. He was.
By the way, this is done.
Yeah,
We're
that's
done,
done.
right?
It's done.
Listen, 5 stars, right?
Uh-huh.
Rated with 5 stars. We are on Facebook, Spotify,
LinkedIn,
Wow.
LinkedIn,
Microsoft,
Microsoft,
MySpace.
YouTube.
YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty
Good.
much got it.
Are we all done like that? Do
Yes.
we have any sales merchandising?
No sell.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to buy the suit.
Oh, I thought
look,
you
you
wanted
get-
to buy a bra. The way he put his fingers out, I thought he wanted to buy a bra.
I like the Anto on your
You like it,
shirt.
Right? They
Yeah.
just sent it to me for
Because he's
free.
a coach, that's why.
Oh.
Listen,
I got
wanted
you.
to buy the suit. You see
Okay.
not selling it?
No, not yet.
So what are you waiting for?
It's coming.
It's gonna
coming.
be a
Tracksuit.
drop.
Did we show you?
Just
We'll
bring
show
it
you. We'll
up.
show
Bring
you.
it up.
No, we'll show them next time. Anyway,
we're done with
so
the-
close
at
it.
the
Say
bottom of the screen.
yeah, it's
We're
at the
done
bottom
with
of the
the
screen. Yeah, we're done.
Oh, I thought we could speak freely now. Okay.
I mean, you can always say
no, I mean, but sometimes.
Okay, now you can speak.
Say. As
What?
always, rate the podcast.
Great podcast with 5 stars.
There we go.
What else do we have to
That's
say?
it.
Don't get depressed.
Uh-huh.
AC Milan is not dead. Napoli is not dead. Even if they have Manolas, it doesn't matter. Just it's gonna be all right. So we're not gonna go down to Serie B. We're gonna challenge. We're gonna fight against Napoli.
Well, I would start worrying about it if I were you. You got 13 points.
Doesn't matter. Listen.
Those are Serie B.
We're gonna try to win the Coppa Italia. We're gonna come into the Europe regardless. We're gonna come to the backside. Okay, that's it.
It's 13. It's very cold.
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, guys. As always, we'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ragazzi.
We're done, guys. Let's go for pizza.
Bro, that was hilarious. Jesus.
I need water, man. I spoke too much about that Ancelotti thing.